Hey guys, Cody here with Import Image Racing. I know a lot of you guys saw the taillight overlays that we had on the WRX and we only had one side done. And when it disappeared, a lot of you guys were like, hey, what's up with that? Where did it go? And you guys liked it. So we're gonna be installing that today. We have the Sticker Fab emblem overlays for the front and rear, as well as the steering wheel. And Josh is over here. What's up, Josh? Taillight overlay that's going to go where the reverse and the turn signal goes. And so you're gonna have your front emblem, rear emblem, turn signal, and your steering wheel covers. So these are all sent over from Sticker Fab. We have them all here at importimageracing.com. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to get a set of these for yourself, but today we're here to show you how to install them. So let's actually start on the rear emblem first. When you get a Sticker Fab order for the emblem overlays, you're gonna get 2 of each. So since we're doing the front and the rear, we actually have 4 emblem overlays here. So if you're very careful with your first one, you'll have a spare in case you ever need it, but the spare is there in case for some reason you mess it up. You have that second one there for you. The first thing you want to do is clean off your emblem. You can use some regular soapy water, some quick detail, anything that doesn't have wax in it, or you can actually get some Sticker Fab application fluid, and we're going to use that to clean off this emblem. This is the fluid that would be used to do your regular vinyl installs as well that we're going to be using on the taillights. It is pretty warm here. It's about 78 degrees here today, and I would recommend installing these anywhere between 70 and 80 degrees is probably the optimal temperature. If it's a little bit colder outside, you can use a hair dryer or a heat gun to help with the insulation, but essentially we're going to peel one of these stickers and line it up really good and stick it on. So if you ever had those Matchbox cars or model cars that would come with these stickers when you were a kid and you would apply, and you know how much you love doing that, well, this is the same thing. We're just going to get this lined up as best as we can and just start pushing it down, making sure to get all of the air bubbles out. This is really good vinyl. It has air bubble release in it, so it's actually difficult to get air bubbles in it, but I would still recommend going from the top to the bottom and working that all in one motion. And that's it, simple as that. The rear emblem overlay is installed. Now these emblem overlays do come in different colors as well. We just chose blue because it matches the car. However, you can get white, red, yellow, really any color that you want we have available. I like the blue best with the blue car, so that's what we went with here. So do keep in mind that the front emblem is slightly larger than the rear emblem. So when you go to do these installs, make sure that you're selecting the right size and not putting the smaller ones on the front or the larger ones on the rear. This is a pretty forgiving vinyl, so if you think that you have it misaligned, you can peel it back up and move it just a little bit. With these dry installs, you know, it's hard to get it on the first try, but when you're being picky about it and you want to get it right, it's nice that this is very forgiving vinyl. And again, no air bubbles to speak of. You can see that they're just coming out with no problem at all. And if you do end up with a significant air bubble that you can't get out for some reason, you can heat this up and use heat to massage the air bubbles out, but you shouldn't have to do that. Now we have our front emblem installed. So finally we have the steering wheel emblem. Just spray a little bit on that, wipe it off, and with this one I'm actually going to line up the side first. I'm going to get this side right where I want it. Make sure it's even on the top and the bottom. Just be mindful not to press on this too hard or your horn will go off. So if you're in a position where you don't want your horn going off, just keep that in mind. But it looks like we got that install pretty much perfect the first time. It actually looks like I might have put this a smidge to the right, so I am going to peel this back up. And as you can see, when it is perfectly fresh, you can do that. And so I'm not even going to end up needing that extra one they sent, even though I messed up. And there we go. I know I've said that they come in different colors, but they also come in different patterns. So you could get a solid gloss black background or a flat black background or a white background, really whatever you want. There's all kinds of different customization to these. Now the final install that we have is the taillight overlays. These are gonna really make the back of the car look so much different. And it's crazy how something this simple can make a difference, but we're gonna spray this down with this install spray. We're gonna wipe it, make sure that it's super clean. We're We're gonna clean the whole taillight just to make sure no debris gets in. Now, if you are installing this outside, just be careful, because if the wind catches it and for some reason it ends up blowing onto another part of the vehicle or on the ground, it's really gonna screw up your vinyl and your install. So just be mindful of that. If you need an extra set of hands, you may wanna do that. But today we are doing this inside, thankfully, so this should be fairly simple. If you have any sort of, I would just recommend doing this on a calm, dry day. We are going to soak this entire taillight now, this whole area that we're installing the vinyl, and we're gonna peel the vinyl off of the sticker. Just double check and make sure that your hands are clean. You don't want to put, grease or fingerprints all over the back of this, because you're most likely gonna be touching it with your bare fingers. Line this thing up about where you want it, and because this is wet, we can slide it around and get it exactly where we want it to be. This is the dark smoke version, so it's going to give us a darker look. You can get a light smoke version as well as like a hexagonal pattern. You can get honeycomb, all sorts of different patterns. But we're gonna lay this thing down, and now we're gonna take our microfiber and just go in these stroke motions and push out any air bubbles. Now at this point, you can, once you think you have most of the air bubbles out, you can actually come over and lightly hit this with a heat gun or a hair dryer. I would not go crazy with it, just ever so slightly, and as it warms up, you'll see a couple more air bubbles start to form, and then you can kind of push those out as they form. Or you can just let it go like this, let it sit out in the sun for a little bit, and it should be okay. But it looks like we've got most of our air bubbles out, and we are good to go. On this 2022 WRX, there is a little dot here in the factory lens. And so if you're seeing a little dot there, that is not an air bubble, it's actually just the shape of the lens. It's actually there from factory, you just don't really see it. So, but it looks like we got all of our air bubbles out. We are good to go. Here you can see a really good side-by-side comparison of what it looks like with it on and without it. I'm going to quickly install this side and we will be done. And just to clarify, there really isn't a wrong way to do this, just whatever feels most comfortable with this wet method. And doing it with this wet method is pretty reliable. If you're doing it dry, it's, sometimes you can get an air bubble and it's kind of stuck. With this wet method, anything that is under the surface, any of these air bubbles that you see, there's liquid in it, there's soapy water in it, so it's not going to stick. You can push it out without worrying about it getting stuck. Both sides seem to be good. I would say that it's an install success. We have the front and rear emblems now, the steering wheel emblem and the taillight overlays, and just that little bit of magic makes the rear end of this car look so much better. Well guys, that's gonna be it for today's video. As I said, I'll leave a link in the description where you can get a set yourself. You go on the website, you can customize it however you want, and we'll ship them out to you. So thanks for watching the video, guys. We'll see you in the next one.